Hello and welcome to the second episode of 2D game programming in C++. Welcome back if you've watched the first episode, the starting up the environment and the main function. Today is going to be a little bit different as we move forward with game development. We need to understand what we are making in before we can start just jumping into the code. It'll make doing the code a lot easier. So what we should decide on is what we're going to be making. And as a 2D game, what comes to mind is the roguelike type game. And I think that would be what we were going to make this time is roguelike. Very popular, very good beginner style. Many different options that we can put towards the game. We don't have to be conformed to one specific way. We can do a whole bunch of different things. Um, I'm thinking that when we start this, we're just going to work on one player. There's no use doing two players right now, or multiplayer across the internet. We'll leave those to an advanced course later on, as we can do that maybe using this game and then converting it to a two-player or even a multiplayer. And multiplayer might be something that we'd want to get into, or most of you probably definitely want to get into. Um, what else I'm thinking of is basically we're going to start with one room. Everything's going to be in this room. We are going to have enemies spawn inside this room. We will have the room layout different for different rooms. The player will spawn inside the room and exit the room. What I'm thinking about in the future is that there is a certain amount of enemies in the room. After you kill the enemies, an exit appears and you can go out the exit. So when we come to development, what I envision is a MVC design. So we're going to have the model, the view, and the controller. Basically what that means is that a user, your player, will interact with the view, which is the user interface. The controller will control what's on the view, and it will control what's in the data. The data, the model, is your data. The data will, the view and the data, the model will interact with each other in a not in a way that will change things. The view will pull information from the model as requested by the controller to display what it needs to display, and the model will update as the view changes. Same with the controller. The controller that pulls information from the model will also be updated by what the controller requests. And I think this is a good way to go about and very streamline our code so that we can segregate our code into the data code, and then have a user interface, and then have code that will control everything. This will be good for optimization. This will be good for speed. Um, and when it comes to 2D gaming, or any gaming for that matter, that's what you would want to go towards. You'd want to have good optimization and good speed. Now, this is a beginner course, so as I go through the writing of the code, I'm going to write it as one would as a beginner. I'm not going to go into code that is going to be super optimized right off the start. It's going to be done in a way that is easy to read and is easy to follow. So, with that being said, we should probably think about where to start. And where to start, we are going to go down here and we are going to, let me erase this, we are going to start with a room, right? The room is the main thing, is where we start. We start in the room. This is where most of our information will be stored for the room. Things that they will spawn in the room are characters. Characters such as the player, enemies, any other type of character. Maybe we can have some NPCs. We can have those as well, maybe. That's for future look. What else can spawn in a room? Obstacles, obstructions, that can spawn in a room. What else can we get in a room? How about the exit? We can get the exit in a room. I think this is a good way to do this. Keeps it very basic. It's a good place to start. We will design the basics of the room. Then we can move towards having characters come into the room. And then we can have obstacles in the room that the character can hide behind, or maybe move, or things. Enemies in the room as well, and then we can have an exit so that, like we said, if we kill a number of enemies, the exit will appear, and then we can exit that room and go to level number 2 or another room. And that is a good way to begin the game. Good way to start. You have your design, the MVC, you know you're going to do it like that. You're going to have your data, you're going to have your user interface, and you're going to have the controller to control it all. I think we'll start with the data just to start. And then once we get the basis of the data done, then we can move towards the user interface. Once we get the interface kind of up and ready, then we can move to a controller that will control the two of them. Another thing is that we have a kind of outline of what we want to start with. We want to start with the room, and we want to then move to the characters, and then to the obstructions, and then finally the exit. As we move through all these things, it will change. It will change as we go, and that's okay. It's allowed to change as we go. Alright, well, with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. This was a good planning video. We are ready to start. The next video that I put up will be the implementation of the room. We'll do some coding of the room. We will create a class for the room. We'll plan it out, what we're going to go there, do with the room, and go from there. So thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.